Well, hello there. Today we had a chance to give a talk for the Westlake Chamber of Commerce on Google marketing. In particular, we wanted to teach a plan to help business owners gaining clarity on how Google marketing can actually sell them instead of them having to keep promoting themselves and actually miss opportunities, because very often professionals and entrepreneurs who go out and network, they put all the efforts in the offline world, but they don't consider that if they mix the online world with the offline activities, their impact can be way more powerful, and also you can trim the fat, if we may call it in that way, of your calendar, and really focus on not only connecting with new people and activate the word of mouth, but also solidify a plan so that when people are ready to buy from you or to hire your services, you are covering all the bases with your Google marketing plan, which is not something much different than content marketing plan. Okay. And I want to also share with you, like, what's this picture about? We were sharing the story on how we came up with this picture using artificial intelligence. We put these keywords there, and this is what it came. The keywords were smiling man, lawyer, holding a dollar with a cell phone, and super realistic. So if you haven't used artificial intelligence to create content or create images, you should. So let's just dive in. You're going to be seeing basically like a cheat sheet, because we only had about 30 minutes to cover a packed strategy that could really create an impact in the business owners that were attending. And we want to share this with you because maybe you were there and you want to refresh, or you were not, and we want to give you the opportunity to catch up with this great talk. So basically the first step is to understand that whenever we want to activate traffic online, we have to be very mindful of where are these people in terms of their decision-making process. Are they just searching because they want to gather some information? Are they searching because they're looking for that solution right away? They're considering, but they're not sure who? Or they're searching because they're really ready to buy from you, and you are coming as one of the top recommended solutions. One of the big, I would say, shifts in the world of the search engine marketing is to understand that the more you are closer to that phase where the user is ready to buy, then the more conversions you will see. Big mistake that I actually made before I started working with our SEO master, who today is a CEO of Marketing for Greatness, was just to think that if I created content that was going to educate the viewers and the readers, I was then going to generate more traffic, and therefore with more traffic, then I would have more conversions. While that approach might work for people, you're talking about volume, and usually those websites that generate a ton of volume, they will see a conversion rate of very little, very low, because they're not having qualified traffic, versus the other approach, which is what we believe, and that's our tip number one, is to actually understand that informational searches go hand in hand with transactional searches. In other words, you're not only going to educate people on your expertise, you also want to create content that is SEO based, knowing what people are searching when they are ready to buy from you. In that way, you are really creating that pipeline of content readers that they are on a phase where you're not catching them way too far from them wanting to get a solution right away, right? So that was tip number one. We actually went through an exercise, and we used the People Also Ask, which is a tool free that Google offers. Every time when you search, you know that Google suggests you other searches. So if you actually do that exercise, you'll realize and ask yourself, hey, who is asking this question? For example, how much does a divorce cost in Austin, Texas? Is this person looking to get a divorce probably in the next 30 to 60 days? Yeah, maybe, right? Versus, how can you get a free divorce in Texas? Do you really want to create transactional content for the person who is looking for a free divorce in Texas? You could, but you also need to be mindful that that's a search that you want to re-educate and still gain as a prospect. If you use this as a keyword to gain that reader to your site, but educate them in like, look, you might want to get a free divorce, but that's just not really going to take you too far. The other one is, do you have to be separated before divorce in Texas? These are more questions that will tell us that they're more in the informational side. They don't necessarily are ready to hire a lawyer. And my takeaway here and my tip for you is that go and kind of like divide the users that have bought from you, and just try to think, what is it, the information that they needed to know about the services I provide, and the questions that they asked when they were ready to hire me or have a contract with me. Those two pillars will help you to create a much solid content marketing plan that will actually get you to monetize and see conversions. Tip number 2, which actually happens a lot here whenever we are analyzing the keywords opportunities to create the content, we usually not only use the keyword density number, which is how popular that word is. And one takeaway here that I want you to have is that first of all, this keyword analysis is an analysis that we gather from the tool AHREFS. If you don't have this tool, I highly recommend it. They have free plans and they have paid plans. We have a paid plan by for the agency, which has more advanced features, but I highly recommend that you get even the free version of AHREFS. You're gonna have the chance to analyze the searches that your peeps make, and based on that, just keep in mind that not only you're going to be finding mostly the informational and transactionals, but you also want to make sure that those searches are actually with opportunities. Anything that you see on the green light by this program means that it's going to give you a great opportunity. Now, the second factor, and for us is a primary, is that somebody's already paying for that keyword, which let us know that there's a lot of users trying to find information around it. And this is an area where a lot of, I would say, marketers and content marketers, they kind of miss that mark because they just focus on generating traffic to the website. But traffic without conversions is nothing, right? It's just noise. We actually gather more of the intelligence and focus more on the conversion side of the content creation process. So that's our tip number 2. Tip number 3 is one of our most favorite things to do is, once we analyze what is the topics that we want to launch on a website, not only we consider the written method, but also we want to make sure that we can use content in multiple formats. This is called content 3 ways. So one way is the written, the second way is the images, and the third way is the videos. So have that in mind so that whenever you're creating a strategy to educate your people who are interested in buying from you, not just create written content, but also expand on the other formats, which is images and also the videos. And sometimes, because you can actually leverage your local presence and you want to create content for your local peeps, you might get a much better opportunity to rank locally, even if you combine the images with another tool, which is your Google My Business, which is now moving into Google Maps. So the image SEO and Google Maps are part of a local SEO strategy that can also help you to boost your presence. So I'm kind of like going really quick and giving you a lot of tips here that we share today, but please, by all means, if you're not understanding a concept, please reach out. If you're watching this video on social media, just leave us a comment, and I'm more than happy to jump back in and answer your questions. So tip number 4 is actually outwinning your competition by outsourcing the implementation of your content marketing. And here you might be like, oh my gosh, they're pitching their services. It's not that. You definitely want a strategy that you can execute from start to end. And that's one of the kind of like the downsides when people start doing projects. but they're on their own and they don't really understand like the importance of having a project from start to end. SEO is one of them. Google loves the hyper speed and the hyper consistency. So getting into that rhythm of creating great content consistently is what is going to take you to see the biggest impact. And that's why if you're gonna, commit to SEO, content marketing SEO, you definitely want to have a plan so that you can scale and you can be consistent with that content. And outsourcing is going to be the way. I know you're going to tell me, no, I have time. You're not going to have the time to be consistently doing the content that is needed. And keep in mind that when we initiate a project and we tell you the opportunities, that's just the very beginning of the opportunity. Once you start ranking, you're going to start seeing some velocity. You will want to have the chance to scale by pumping out even more content, knowing that it's already working, okay? Then tip number 5, there's also the part of content marketing, which is promoting the content that you so amazingly created, right? So there's a guide here, that's tip number 5. Download that guide. It's going to give you all the process, all the steps that we use in our agency to get websites not only to rank, but also to boost in conversions. And then we also offer a free strategy session in person here at the office. So take up us in that offer. Click this and take a picture of this QR code so you can schedule that meeting with us, and we will be able to see like where are your opportunities and how can you leverage Google to sell you. Thank you so much. See you soon.